Hi guys, this video is going to be an update of our first semester for the current school year. In this video, I will just share subjects that we were either having some issues with. There's one subject area specifically for my third and my fifth grader that I was considering making a bit of a change with, and a few subjects that we are really enjoying this year. At the end of the school year, God spare, I will share how all of the selections that we used for the school year, how it worked out for us. All right. So for writing, so our main curriculum for writing, I have a third grader, fifth grader, and an eighth grader. For my third and my fifth grader, we are using Writing with Ease Level 3, and that is as our main curriculum, and that is working fine. I already have something that I plan to use with them for the upcoming school year. And for my eldest, I shared in a previous video that even though we enjoyed what we've done with writing rhetoric so far, we will be moving on after book 5. My 8th grader is using book 5. I will link the video above, just in case you're interested in hearing some of the reasons why it is we'll be moving on from that. Now, I also shared a couple months ago that I was doing a little bit of classical writing with them. Nothing too, like strenuous, just at the side. And after, kind of thinking about it, after the fact, I think I probably shared that prematurely. That's probably something that we just do and doesn't necessarily have to be like on the channel. It is not our main curriculum, and even though I am doing it with them, I am learning as I go. So that's why I say that maybe I shared it prematurely. That being said, though, someone did ask me to share how I am liking the classical quills. I believe it's classical quills 1. I'm still, as I said, we're going through it really slowly with my younger two. So I may touch on that once we've done enough, but other than that, that's just something we're doing on the side. That being said, though, these are outlining books. I've shared this on the channel before. I learned about it on YouTube. They're very, very thin books. Inexpensive, probably expensive for what they are, but inexpensive in regards to like the amount of money out of pocket. In that video, I gave just a little peek inside. They're so small, I don't want to keep, like opening them up, just not because I'll end up putting out the whole book on the internet. That being said, I did the beginning outlining book with my third and my fifth grader. My eldest, she did this already, so she reviewed it the first time I did it with them, and now I'm currently going through it with them again. I think that if it is you have a young one that maybe writing is not natural, it doesn't come naturally to them, I really think these books are really useful. I really like them. So I haven't done this one with my third and my fifth grader as yet, but because we are doing the classical writing, I stopped, at a certain point because I realized that this is going to be beneficial. So that's why I'm talking about that. All right. So that is writing. And for the rest of the language arts block, vocabulary. Now for my eldest, the Wordly Wise, it was the first time that we used it, and that is excellent for her. Very, very happy with that choice. For my third and my fifth grader, when they enter into the next grade, God spare, I think I am leaning towards going with the Wordly Wise for them. For a brief minute, I was considering word roots because I have the beginning and I also have level 1. I think I picked up level 1 at a thrift store, and I had the beginning book, something like that. But I don't know. I like the Wordly Wise. I like how it is. So I don't know. I'm kind of tossing between those two, probably leaning towards the Wordly Wise. However, for this new semester, they are actually finished with the level 3 and 5 of this 240 vocabulary words by Scholastic, and they are going to be doing levels 4 and level 6. So my third grader is going to do 4, and my fifth grader is going to do level 6. Now, these books, I have found them to be pretty easy, and my younger Two, I asked them as well, and they said that they found that it is easy, but they do like the fact that they do learn a few new words and that they're able to use it in sentences. And, you know, building and structuring sentences is something that we have been working on. And so they're enjoying it for that. In the update last year, I think I mentioned that for the school year that we're in, I was trying to plan the school year and use as many things that I had on my shelf, and this was one of those things that I had on my shelf that I had purchased, I want to say like 3-4 years ago. Because of that, and because I had all 6 books, if it is I don't use 4 and 6, then, you know, it will just be another thing that just kind of goes to waste. So instead of, you know, adding something heavier for the rest of the school year, I'm just going to hold off and have them do this. It's a pretty easy, you know, book, because as I said, the first one lasted just for the first semester, right? So they're just going to finish up the school year with this, and then we're going to move on to something else. Plus, because they're doing all about reading and all about spelling, you know, I think that would be sufficient. This year, it has really been working out for them, having more time to dedicate to the things that they enjoy doing, their extracurricular activities. The flow that has been working is on the board. Using the board as our as my planner, my visual planner. It worked out for that one school year. Now I just use my regular planner. But on their board, I have actually scheduled out, you know, like what their extra things that they do, like what to be done on what day, or what they should attempt to do on what day. And anyway, freeing up enough space for that to take place has been working out. So I don't want to you know, add any extra load if it's not absolutely necessary. That was a lot to say for vocabulary, but anyway, so that's where we are at with vocabulary. For my eldest, for literature, she has been doing the Golden Goblet by Progeny Press, and she likes the word study. And even though she liked doing the Golden Goblet, she did mention that she thinks she would have preferred, because she enjoyed doing the book study, she thinks she would have preferred doing it on a book that is probably closer to the genres that she enjoys reading. But all the same, she actually enjoys doing the book study. That was actually something that I was a little bit concerned about going too deep with, because she likes to read. I didn't want to take away the joy of reading for her, but she happens to enjoy doing it. And I think she enjoys the Progeny Press. These were her words. She says that she liked how she was able to look up specific Bible verses and examine how those characters possibly violated or followed the specific verses. But as I said earlier, she said she'd prefer if she was able to do that with a book that, you know, is more along the lines that she liked to read. But that being said, she enjoyed the book study, and we're going to be starting a new Progeny Press book study within the next couple, like, week or two. So it did take her a little bit longer than the 8 to 10 weeks, because she had like 1 or 2 exercises left, but all the same, you know, it worked out fine. This year, for the first time in our homeschool journey using Matthew C, we have actually run into a bit of issues. All 3 kids have been struggling in 1 or 2 areas, you know, new topics within math this year. So late at the end of last year, sometime in December, I actually had us stop, you know, like where they were at. One is on, I think, 17, and 2 of them on chapter 19, something like that. And what we've been doing is, with my younger 2, I've been sitting down with them, and we've been going through what, for my youngest, I believe it's just 2 areas that she's struggling with. My 5th grader, 3 areas, and we've been going through the videos that the topic areas that they are struggling with, and I've been finding extra questions or problems for them to work through, you know, continuously work through those with. That's because they already did the pages in Matthew C, and even though they do have the test book, I still don't want them to use that as yet. I want to save that at the end to continue using how I usually use it as a end of, you know, year review for them. For my eldest, luckily I was able to use the Matthew C generator and generate some pages for her to practice in the areas that she was struggling. But for especially my youngest, for her, I do remember she was having some issues with chapter 7, and they didn't have pages that you could generate for that. I'm not 100% sure why there are certain pages that you can generate extra questions for and why some you can't, but that's how it is. So I had to, kind of hunt around different places to find some extra problems on those specific topics for them to work through. So that's where we're at with math. I'm still happy with Matthew C. It's just kind of strange that not one, not two, but all of them were struggling, with some way or form with math this year. Last year I was considering making a switch for my eldest, but I am happy that I stuck with, the Matthew C for her, so that she finished, the secondary math using, like, basically all of elementary and secondary math using the same, system. And we'll see where she goes with that when we head into high school. I'll talk about science. For the science, she says that she finds it to be challenging but not confusing, right? She likes the way that it is laid out and it is easy enough for her to follow. She's actually doing really well in math, and I really like the fact that it grades it and it's kind of like hands off. I really do like that. But all in all, we like the dive science. She likes the dive science. Now I do want to talk about the kit that is recommended. Now this is based on our experience, and this is not, I'm not trying to criticize or nothing. I am glad, however, that we did not buy the entire kit. And as I said, this is specific to us. I think, obviously your own child or children, and who is more into what. And this particular child is, science is one of those subjects she just want to get it done, do as well as she can, getting a good grade, but she's not really interested in going deeper into science. That being said, we have done a few of the science experiments, but all we've used so far is the rock kit and the plastic cylinder. Now it's only the end of the first semester. I did end up purchasing a few other things based on a few experiments that I perceive that she may want to try. So I'll see if it is we end up using any of those during this semester. But so far we've only used, two items. Now I did end up buying the rock kit that is recommended by Natia's workshop from Amazon, because that rocket works excellent with the program. Initially I tried using a cheaper rocket and it did not work out. It just didn't have enough rocks specimens to be able to do enough of the experiments. So I'm glad that I did break down and buy the rocket. I think the rock kit is definitely worth it. It was kind of hard to find it on Amazon, but that rocket is definitely worth it. And the cylinder. Now, I did find that for some of the rocks, because the cylinder is pretty narrow, it was hard to use it, but we found a way around that. There's ways around that to be able to still do the experiments, right? So at the end of the school year, hopefully I will, kind of come back and share if there were other things from there that we were able to use. As I said, I think it's based on your child, and if you have a child that is really into science. My youngest she loves science, she's the only one that really loves science. My other kids, they just do science. So there's that. But anyway, so that's math and that's science. Now, for my younger two, we're using In God's Design. We're also doing Earth Science. So it's kind of not, I'm glad that I decided to do Earth Science with them this year, because a lot of times we were doing like a couple of the rock experiments while I was doing it with my older one. My younger two, they were working with the rocks and trying to classify them. They have like little containers downstairs where they're trying to classify rocks and get better with doing that, and they're actually enjoying that. So that is science. For social studies, for history, for my younger two, we have some work to do. And for my eldest, my 8th grader, I really like the picks that we had for history this year. Now for my younger two, this year we were using the 180 days of social studies and geography, because we chose to do history and geography last semester, and this semester we will be working on civics and economics, right? So we're going to be starting that now. For geography has been working all fine, but for history, I am glad that they have decided to read a lot of the Who Was books this year, because even though I planned to read from the What Your Kid Needs to Know, last year I was struggling with keeping up with reading through the history with them, using those books, even though I used to use them a lot when they were younger. And this year I really did not do well with using that series. Right now, when it comes to using the 180 days of social studies, the history within those workbooks, what I did do, the standard that's listed out to the front here, what it is I did was, for some of them, if it is I thought that it would be beneficial for us to kind of find a video or something, yeah, I looked deeper into that particular topic, I did do that, and then we worked through the workbook pages. So for history, for my younger two, it was just what it had in the 180 days of social studies, all the exercises within that, and luckily they read the Who Was books. They do have a playlist on YouTube that they watch, sometimes, and that's that. So I'm considering going back to the story of the world, but not like the workbooks and all of the extra stuff, just the actual storybooks. And that's because I am actually really enjoying doing, like reading through these readers with my eldest, but I'll get to that just now. So I'm considering going back to the story of the world. I already had book 1 and 2, the actual storybooks. And I actually purchased 3 and 4 probably sometime last year or the year before. So that's probably where I'm going to go with history with them, and, probably go through that a couple of times, and, different, like, whether it's videos or different resources, but not using the story of the world, companion, pages and stuff. That was just, I did it at the beginning of our homeschool journey, and I'm just not, I'm not doing it anymore. It's just too much for our style of homeschooling, and I'm just going to leave that there. I had to come to terms with that a couple of years ago, and I'm not going to be doing that anymore. All right, so that's that. For my eldest, for history, I really like the choices that we made. We finished the housing a couple months ago, and she really enjoyed this. And this book here, A Different Mirror, I think this book has turned my child into a child that really is enjoying history now, right? That is very different. She actually looks forward to history, and she, really, we really try not to miss our 20-minute reading sessions on a Tuesday and a Thursday, because she's enjoying this, right? So she reads from this, and I just use my Kindle on my phone, and we read through, discuss, and then for another 20 minutes, there are the history workbooks that I shared in her curriculum video that she does. So she does 40 minutes for history on a Tuesday and Thursday, 20 minutes reading, and then the 20 minutes. Sometimes she'll spend that other 20 minutes reading from these. Sometimes she would use the workbooks. She breaks it down, the way that works for her. Now, she read through these before. These are the American History volumes 1 and 2 by Thomas Kidd, and she also enjoys these. She's now reading through the volume 1 for the second time. Her view on history, she says she really likes the perspective that all of them is written from, and specifically she really likes this one, a different mirror. And with the Thomas Kidd, she likes the fact that it also includes history of Christianity within America. So that is history. So we are really enjoying our choices, at least for my 8th grader, for history this year. All right. Health and financial literacy, they're fine. No highs or lows. She's doing well with that. And logic, she really is enjoying logic as well. At the beginning of the school term, I had said that if it is I thought that I was going to keep her back, that I would have stopped and just let her do it on her own. Actually, she said that she's glad that I did decide to, stick it through. because it gives her the opportunity to discuss it with somebody, you know, at least somebody in the house that understands a little bit of the logic, so that she can kind of, you know, at least talk about it, and you know, I'll have some idea of what it is she's talking about. I guess this is style specific. There's a sheet in this book where they lay out the different informal logic fallacies, and it's like laid out like a branch, and they have the three main branches, and then it's broken down into the subcategories. If I'm to be honest, that one page is what makes it possible for me to follow along this much better with her. But that is a style thing. It reminds me of the All About Reading. There's something about how it is that's laid out makes it easier for me to follow along. So I am really appreciative of, I really appreciate that. And I also like the fact that at the end of the book, you know, they tell you, after they discuss a certain fallacy, sometimes they tell you to like turn to a different page at the back, and it has like further discussion on that fallacy, so that you can understand it a little bit better, right? So, you know, I would say it is challenging. You know, it is a challenging read, but it is doable, and she is really enjoying this to the extent where she said that she would have had interest in doing formal logic, but that's something that we decided probably that's something that if she has interest in, she can do, you know, at some later point. But she really is enjoying the logic. And then for our extracurricular activities, you know, as I said earlier on, we're getting a lot more time to do some of the things that they enjoy doing. I think some of that I shared on the channel before was like their typing, and I think I spoke a little bit on, well, we've been doing gardening and sewing. Now, for sewing, to be quite honest, last year a lot of the time they focused on just doing like freehand sewing and things that they have in, you know, like little projects that they wanted to try on the sewing machine. I can find my way around a sewing machine. I know how to use it, but I don't know how to sew like clothing. I can sew pillows and pillowcases and stuff like projects like that. But that is an interest that I would really like to be able to find the time to be able to get more into, so that I can possibly, you know, help them in that area. So I don't know, we'll see how that will go. And the gardening, I am really enjoying the gardening. Now, I didn't plant anything for December, but I did buy some dirt recently, and I last week, and I do plan to, you know, plant stuff this year. So that's I am really enjoying that, and I'm just pulling them along with the gardening. But anyway, I think that kind of wraps that up. Thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you in another video. Bye.